everyone, welcome back to Automatic Mouth and to episode 7 in the 10-part series on Gambate. So today I'm talking about finding purpose in the journey. It's that old cliche of it's not about not about the destination, it's about the journey. Something like that. Anyway, I decided that we'd pull it apart a little bit today and tease it out and talk about what it really means, I guess, from my perspective, and you can decide what it means from your perspective. So here's what I think. I think when we take on something, and we'll call that in this instance, the journey, when we take on something, we become really fixated, don't we, on the outcome we want. We really focus in on, okay, well, what do we want? What's the outcome? And we picture it, we feel it, we obsess over it. It becomes our single focus in that moment. Now, here's the weird thing. We can get so in the moment of that outcome that we can actually trick our brain into believing we already have it. And what that does is it sets off the physiological responses to actually having that thing. And then it's a cycle, isn't it? If your body is responding as if you have that outcome, then that also then feeds back to the brain that, okay, we're good, everything's working, and they just keep feeding into each other until you feel quite, you could feel quite euphoric and all the good things that come from having that outcome. Now, the pendulum then will swing, won't it? And we come crashing down with a very rude thud as we give ourselves this super harsh reality check that we actually don't have the thing. And what can happen from there is a real spiraling effect. Because not only do we not have that outcome, we start to get quite overwhelmed with how far away that outcome is and everything that would have to fall into place for that to happen. And why can't we have it now? How come I have to go through all this? And we start to really build up this resistance and in some instances, even maybe like a bit of a learned helplessness. What's the point in trying? I'm never going to get there. It's too hard. It's too pie in the sky. It's not for me, whatever. And so we can swing really hard into that negative space. And the outcome that we want, that we were feeling so good about earlier, can move further and further and further away. So where am I going with this? Please know as well, I'm not saying that I'm creating something new here or that I am, giving a magic pill or reinventing the wheel. No, I'm simply sharing stuff that I've learned and how I understand it and passing it on. That's it. Not my own stuff going on here in this instance. What we need in order to find purpose in the journey, in order to get to the outcome and enjoy the process along the way, we need steps. It's really quite simple. Not easy. I'm not saying that it's an easy process. It is a simple one though. We humans, we like steps. We need steps in order to get us somewhere. And when you think about steps to things, each step towards your outcome, it's an opportunity to learn something new about the process or about yourself or even about what worked, what didn't work, what you'd like to do differently, that kind of learning process. It enables us to tick a box, which, let's be honest, we all love being able to, on the to-do list, tick a few boxes off. We feel, damn, yep, we're good. Look how much I'm accomplishing. Look how productive I am. It's a good feeling, right? And so you can see that if you have steps broken down to get to your outcome, you're going to get that same good feeling of being productive when you can tick off a step that you've taken towards that outcome. It builds momentum because once you've ticked off a step, then you can move your focus and your energy to the next step. And then you get in a rhythm of the steps that you are going to be taking to get to your outcome. And then the icing on the cake is that every step you take and complete is an opportunity to give yourself some praise. It's, look what I did. I'm that bit closer. And it's such a good feeling because you're leading yourself somewhere. You're moving towards something. You're taking action. Here's the weird thing about us, as much as we perhaps don't want to admit it, we don't like being still. We like to see, think, feel that we are taking action in some way. None of us really enjoy being stagnant. We always like to think that we are moving and creating and doing. Something is happening, you know? Even look how difficult it can be to lay and do nothing. Go and get a massage, lay next to the pool, read a book. Actually, just lay outside, do nothing. It takes a lot of work to get people to see the benefits of that. And even then, isn't that the only way we get people to do it? We have to have a purpose for it, don't we? We need to know that this is doing something still for us. We call it self-care. I'm doing self-care today. So we're still wanting to do something, even if that what we're doing is actually nothing. However, the idea that we're doing something gives us good feelings. Yep. So we don't like to be still. We need a purpose in that stillness for it to be beneficial to us and to give us good feelings. So it stands to reason then, doesn't it, that if you've got an outcome you want, give yourself steps, because our minds, they want to know that we are getting something out of every moment. There's some benefit in it, every moment. And so how we can best achieve what we want to achieve and enjoy the process, the journey, is create purpose in every moment. What's the reason you're doing this? And make that reason for yourself. What's the reason I'm doing this? And break down that little step, complete the step, move on to the next one. What's the reason I'm doing that step? And give yourself a purpose for that step, and then praise and reward yourself for completing that step. It's how our minds work. It likes rewards and praise for a behavior, and then it will repeat the behavior. So if you take a small step towards the outcome you want, and you give yourself praise and a reward for taking that step, then you are more likely to take another step and another and another. So there has to be something in it for you in each step, and you can create that. You can design it to win. Instead of relying on external and outside people to do that for you, decide what makes you feel good, and then design your journey, design the steps that's going to get you the outcome you want. All right, I trust that was helpful and you got something out of that. As I said, that was episode 7. So there's only 2 more episodes to go in this Gambate series, and then we're going to move on to something else. So please like, subscribe, share, and let me know what you like and what you don't. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. See you later.